Greetings, Taekwondo family. Welcome once again to Miami Minutes, the show that says, violence the motto, no fear of death. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And here I am, striking the minutes and then escaping by bike. It's me, Niall McGowan.
You are well known for fleeing by motorcycle from every occasion.
And again, though, because I know we emphasize it in the first couple of minutes, but the whole thing of just like ninja bikers and how they just don't go together. But this is really, that lyric is emphasizing like, yeah, we strike the victim and then hop on our hogs and motor out of there. And it's really just like, you can imagine, I just kept getting flashes of that bit from, Full Metal Jacket when he, Matthew Modine has the peace sign painted on his soldier's helmet.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I think I was trying to say something about the duality of man, sir. But asking why Kate came, like, what the hell, ninja bikers? Like, I think I was trying to say something about the duality of man there.
It says a lot about the duality of man, I believe.
But just like that, it's a real boss move though. Of like you can go sneak in as a silent ninja, and then when everyone's dead, they're just revving the engines on the way out.
It's a baller move. It's to use the parlance of these times, it's an alpha move. It's like, so what?
Yeah, I mean Yoshida, he is very much the alpha.
Yeah.
I mean, look what he can do in this minute. For one.
What would a ninja vehicle be? I mean, the only thing I can kind of think of would be canoe or glider.
I'm just getting flashbacks of like all those like Ninja Turtle, toy vehicles or like.
I had a hover boat that they supposedly rode it through the sewers and it fired pizzas out of it.
I do recall them having a hoverboat in the sewer. I don't recall firing pizzas, but I think they just did that. Well, it wasn't the van shot like sewer lids. Which would be lethal, because those things are friggin' heavy.
Oh, they're way heavier than you think. As a kid, I tried to remove them so I could get in the sewer to meet the turtles.
Yeah.
And it wasn't possible.
Well, I think that's the reason why they're so heavy is because every child is out there going, I want to meet the turtles, or I just want to steal this or whatever. So they make them weigh like literally a ton, so you just can't move them without like.
Parents always used to scare kids with that, didn't they? They're like, stay away from those sewers and those drains because kids get lost down there looking for the turtles and they die.
That's what Stephen King made It for. It was just to make sure.
Yeah.
Just tell them it's a clown down there. They'll scare them away from the sewers.
That's how he got around the copyright. It was meant to be turtles. It was an evil clown.
I will say though, so I actually finished the new Turtles game. Just less than an hour ago. Shredder's Revenge. It's great. They bring in it's in line with the '87 cartoon show.
Yeah, is it like Streets of Rage, that kind of thing?
Yeah. But it brings in elements of everything. Like the final fight is against the Super Shredder from Secret of the Ooze, and they've got like Toka and Razor are in there, and just like other things. They're like, oh, that's from like the other cartoon, and so they're just we're bringing in everything. But the most intense thing, because I was playing it with Killian. People don't know Killian, my friend's 4-year-old.
As you also call him, baby roommate, even though he's not a baby anymore.
Yeah. There is a new baby in the house as well. But I think now she's even graduated to toddler roommate because she's been toddling for quite a bit. But the thing I noticed that Killian kept saying, because he keeps he's doing Blade Ninja stuff. He always goes pow, and then when he's doing the turtles, he always says powabunga. And I was like, no, it's cowabunga. And like, I know weirdly enough, we talked about the origins of cowabunga in our other show, Bet Minute and Robin, which, so people can go look up that. It's very early in the season, too, because it's when Robin says cowabunga, friggin' outside that blown up rocket thing.
Oh, good God. Don't give me flashbacks.
And we found out that, the origins of cowabunga, it's a lot more racist than you'd want to know. But so that's why I was saying, like, powabunga makes more sense to me. And it seems more like a kind of kid-friendly thing, too. Plus, it doesn't have its origins in any kind of racial thing. So
that always helps.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to switch to saying "powabunga" from now on.
Well, let's all shout "powabunga" and leap into this minute 8, which starts with that rockin' DP action, and it ends with some super tough-looking, not at all nerdy criminal action.
I think you were being sarcastic there, John.
What? How dare you accuse me of that? These guys are tough guys.
There are certainly guys dressed as what some people would think tough guys look like.
Someone like YK Kim.
Yeah. It's even there, just like, dude. Like, I hope, like, again, though, I don't think he did pay them, though. So they're probably just like, it's the exposure or whatever. Like, it's just, or he's just such a nice man. Yeah. It just really strikes you as just like, he must just be the nicest man in the universe. That everyone's just like, sure, YK, yeah, I'll do this.
Would you refuse anything that he asked?
No. I'm certain he would refuse coming on the podcast, but I would never refuse him.
I think we could get him. He follows my Twitter. I'll hit him up. We'll see what we can do. We are doing this show out of love.
Yeah, I mean, like, he does. But to be fair, though, he does seem to have the whole, he attends the screenings, and he's like, he seems keen on stage. He's just happy that people are happy about it. And we're not here to make fun, so, maybe you get in the spirit of it. But
we have fun, but we genuinely love this, as we've stated. Oh. But we are back as this most badass of intros continues with gusto.
Yeah.
We are rocking out, baby. Escape from Miami, escape with your life.
Yeah. And then not to talk, YK Kim, he's a star, obviously, but then we got a shot of probably actually I could say the shining star. One of the many shining stars. An introductory shot of the shiny diamond that is Joseph Diamond, who, or is I don't know, what they call him, and like, how did this get made? Like Diet Oats or something? Because
Diet Oats. That's
he
amazing.
just looks like John Oates from. And every time, even before I listened to that episode and seen Miami Connection, I was like, oh yeah, is that the guy from All Oats? But yeah, he is rocking. That we'll talk about so much more as we get into the guys proper.
But he instantly captures your attention. I think not just because he's just front and center of the shot, but you are drawn to him.
Oh, there's no way. He does have a magnetism about him. Mm-hmm. It's a bold look. Many people have tried the mullet and mustache, and the fact that John Oates is the only person who's like claimed it, like such strict ownership of it, indicates that not everyone can pull it off. Like he's the one who sort of struck a dominance with it. But now here we have, I would say, his better. Someone, they just didn't have the chance to show the world how he could improve upon what Oates was doing.
Is it controversial of me to say I think this guy is cooler than Oates?
That's what the thing is. Maybe this probably will be because we they don't have the breadth of material that Hall & Oates had. I would say Dragon Sound are a better band than Hall & Oates.
I mean, I agree, but I know I'm insane.
Because I know, like, I sing Man-Eater, and, from time to time when I'm, going about my day, but, like, if someone's like, do you want to listen to Friends, or Escape from Miami, or, You Make My Dreams Come True, it's like, I like that song, but, like, Escape from Miami's a banger,
You'd much rather sing about the friends that you have for eternity.
Of course, yeah. They laid it out front, They go, Man-Eater, so negative.
Anytime anyone says that, though, I just keep thinking of that. Is it Nelly Furtado?
Yeah.
Man-Eater.
That was a good enough tune too, as well, as I recall.
Yeah. I'm not even a big pop fan, but that was quite a catchy song. That one.
That was again though, like friggin' someone going up against John Oates with an iconic look of mullet and mustache. Like, thick, black, curly mullet and mustache. I always kind of thought it was weird that Nelly Furtado was. It's like there's a classic song called Man-Eater.
Yeah,
you have to mix up that title a little bit to call the Man-Eater.
The Man-Eater, like we do with our Instagrams and things.
It's like download Nelly Furtado's latest single, The Man-Eater.
The Star Wars is our upcoming movie we're writing, I believe.
I wish someone would really do that.
I think he still has the copyright on it, because remember, the original script was called The Star Wars.
Oh, damn it. Well, again, though, The Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Different.
Yeah. But yeah, what was Nelly Furtado thinking? I'm sure she was aware. I'm certain in her lifetime, she has wandered around the house doing stuff going, whoa, there she comes. Like, she knows the song. You don't name it after, that's crazy.
It's an homage, Niall, an homage.
It's like, I got my new single coming out, The Bohemian Rhapsody.
A Bohemian Rhapsody is my new single.
No, don't. But I can't hold it against you, John, because it's perfectly legal.
By your logic.
Yeah.
I noticed as well we get the credit for choreography by Young Moon Kwon.
Yes.
And when I looked into him, whoa, he's worked on a lot of films. A lot of movies.
It took me a minute or two to find him because his name is misspelt in the credits.
Well, it's one of those when it's like translated. There's often different ways to spell it because, of course, he doesn't write his name in a English script, in a Latin script.
Yeah.
He writes it in a Korean script. So you can translate it different ways. So it did take me a little bit as well. It was spelt differently on his official like IMDb and things.
See, I was wondering if it was him, maybe because he, I think it's originally Young Mun, so YeongMun, and I don't know if he as a method of like getting more work in Hollywood was like, well, people will have different, maybe they might have difficulty pronouncing it, so I'll go by Young Moon because that's more. Plus, it's catchy as well. It's like, oh, Young Moon, I'll remember that.
Yeah. Plus, the way you pronounce it it'll kind of be between the two.
Yeah.
But we don't have those sounds. So he's like, well, that's fine. That makes it easier.
Yeah. But also it could be that it's a real, like, the person writing up these credits was just like, okay. Like it's a real, like, what do you call him, Bruce? Raz Al Ghul? Like, it just has that kind of vibe of, like, they didn't get the spelling correct because they didn't look into they just thought they heard a thing and were like, who cares? just
Tell you what, though. This guy, to me, he is a god because he worked on Project A, the Jackie Chan masterpiece, possibly Jackie Chan's greatest film.
Yeah, well,
Project A, Police Story, Wheels on Meals. That's, to me, Lucky Stars. That's like his quadrilogy. And this guy worked on Project A. I think that might be the best one. That's got that insane stunt where Jackie Chan falls out of the clock tower. And it's such an insane stunt that in the credits, they just show like it from like 6 different takes and angles. It's like, look at Jackie Chan almost dying 6 times.
But that's an incredible get for YK Kim. The fact that, like, those guys worked on, like, martial art masterpieces. He's worked with the master, with friggin' Jackie Chan, not in just one movie, in multiple movies. So it's like, it really is like, so he is, when this was, from a base level, he's like, we could stand with the big boys here. We're getting in the tip-top quality people.
I wonder if that was, the guy believed in the project, or if it's just, Kim hitting up contacts. Like, well, he's a martial arts guy. I'm a martial arts guy. We've crossed paths. I'll just give him a call.
Like, I don't know if it might be as well that they're like, he was working with Jackie Chan, over in Asia. And then next, like, okay, you gotta go over to Hollywood now. And then it's like, well,
kind of.
You're having to start from the ground up again, basically. So you're having to work with YK Kim.
Maybe. Yeah, unfortunately, back in those days.
Yeah.
There's some good titles of other movies he's worked on. I wrote down some of my favorites. The Left Foot of Wrath. It's very specific. The Left Foot.
That's that was the sequel to the Daniel Day-Lewis paraplegic classic, My Left Foot.
It should be My Left Foot of Wrath.
It was just like he had enough of people making fun of. So he's out there. He trained his left foot, and he is going to town.
This time, it's war. Also, this one just really cracked me up, and I think it's a translation issue. Enlightened Buddhist named Mok-ryeon. That is the name of the film.
I mean, again, it's less vague. Like, Miami Connection is like, we've been saying, it's not even about Miami, but like, that movie sounds like, no, we know exactly what it's about.
Yeah, you know what you're in for. Exactly. There's another one here. Be patient, young lady. I was like, okay.
That sounds it's getting a little bit condescending now. Next is just mansplaining the movie. It's the next one coming up.
It'll all make sense in a minute. Stop asking questions. Then one that sounds like an American soap opera, The Dead and the Deadly.
Oh, yeah. That's it. That is a great title.
That's good, isn't it? And another cracking one, specifically because it's a sequel, and I love any that are stupid and are sequels. He worked on Fearless Hyena 2.
You know that hyena, so fearless, it lasted until the sequel. It didn't have like a comeuppance or anything at the end.
It's the same hyena. I don't know if it is, people. Go and watch it and let me know. Is it the same hyena?
I'm thinking the most disappointing thing is that it's going to turn out it's not actually about a hyena. It's about like some guy who's like called hyena or something.
Oh, probably, yeah. A gangster.
It could even be like it's bumped down from like it's not even the original. Like it could have been the original Fearless Hyena was Jackie Chan, and now this Fearless Hyena 2 is YK Kim.
Well, and then the unfortunately titled, the last one I wrote down. Well, it could, I don't know, it could take it either way, right? It's called Yellow Skin.
Yeah. Yes, I saw this myself, and I was like, I hesitate. I was going to feel like, oh, should I bring it up? And I was like, no.
The thing that it depends, right? Who's making this movie? There wasn't a lot of information about it. If it's like a Korean movie, a Chinese movie, something like that, then I could see it almost being spun, like they're spinning a negative into a positive. And it could be about those kind of issues, but I'm concerned that it's actually like a Western film.
Oh, no, I think it might be like, I got the vibe it probably is about racism, but it's like a kung fu movie.
Then, in a way.
Yeah, it's like a blaxploitation film that has like the N-word in the title, where it's like, well, it's about taking ownership and stuff, and been like, yeah, I'm going to fight. It's about fighting against it and embracing the name, and been like,
yeah,
no,
but if Spike Lee does that, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
If I did that, that's not cool.
If Quentin Tarantino did many, many times.
Yes, as much as I like Tarantino, man,
there's
you made some bad choices along the way.
There's a scene in Reservoir Dogs I always forget about where Mr. Pink starts wildly using that term. Yeah. And it's full on racist. It's like, you guys are acting like a pack of N-words. And it's like, how did I not remember this from before? Like, I remember seeing it one day, but like, whoa, where the hell did that come? I guess it's like Mr. Pink is a bad guy. So it's like, he doesn't tip. He's a dick. But
the thing is, I know Tarantino isn't racist, right? I know he's not. But he seems to think he's exempt because, but I love blaxploitation movies. It's like, that doesn't make you exempt, Quentin.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think he has declared himself. I think he has declared himself an honorary black person.
Yeah, remember that interview where he's doing like a stereotypical voice.
Yeah,
and it's really cringy.
And he went through a period. The Tarantino fashion on talk shows was, back in the day, he used to wear the black suits like a la Reservoir Dogs and stuff, which is a good look. And then I kind of like, I wish he just kept it up because, it was always, it's classic and, it works. And then he went into a period where he's wearing like Kangol caps because it felt like he was hanging around with Samuel L. Jackson a lot.
Yeah, he was just ripping his style off. Didn't he wear FUBU as well, which is explicitly like, He
was wearing like the big oversized jerseys and stuff. And I was just like, it's Quentin, man. You got it out.
Yeah, I mean, one of these things you could let slide, but it's like a plethora.
Yeah. He still doesn't. He always looks a bit disheveled when you see him now, but at least it's like, he looks like a I don't have issue with what he's wearing, basically.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He doesn't mean harm. He means well, but it's how do I put it? Short-sighted and a bit idiotic of him. To think that, well, I'm an ally, though. It's like, so be quiet, please.
Well, everything about nothing to do sidetrack, but everything about Tarantino to me is like, he's a guy who very much believes his own hype, and he's been getting that hype since 1992 nonstop. Like everyone loves him, and to be fair, most of the films are great. So it's like, I mean, but I can understand where you're getting the pay. But I think he is a bit like, everyone just keeps telling me I'm a genius all the time. So. And then everything I do is fantastic. So he's like, well, why would anything I've done be wrong? Yeah,
unfortunately. And so I was hoping that this movie wasn't like that. If it is more what you were saying, taking that, spinning it and making a positive out of it, then that's cool. But I couldn't find a lot of information on it. I don't know if that's just me.
I see. No, because once I saw the title, I was like, I'm steering clear. Quite frankly. But I did write down some myself because also there's some crossover I put down. The Dead and the Deadly. One that I saw that I really liked was Evil Hits Evil.
Oh,
and it's kind of a vision of evil. Someone throwing his fist in his face, going, "Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! Stop!" And then trying to work in that puppet from the evil Interpol video. Everyone remembers the video for Evil by Interpol with that creepy puppet, right?
I mean, weirdly, I do. But are they even ever talked about anymore?
Well, Interpol's still going. Interpol still pop up.
Yeah, I remember liking them a lot back in the day, but like, you don't hear about them in like the media, do you? Like I think you've got to seek them out.
Yeah, but that's that whole album, Antics. That was a real classic back in the early 2000s. So, and I remember seeing that video all the time. But so they had Evil Hits Evil, My Young Auntie. There's one.
Oh, okay.
There is the Korean Connection.
Oh, come on, that's brilliant. This is a sequel to that.
You have Snake Fist Fighter, which is a Jackie Chan movie. So he's worked with him multiple occasions. And then we have Killer Constable. So even back then, they knew ACAB, you know.
Oh, ACAB.
All constables are.
Oh my God, that works here especially. Do Americans use that word, constable?
No. I think they did. It was way back when.
Yeah, like, it's officer, isn't it, over there?
I think people don't really use it now here. It is, but still is kind of like you might get it on like Doctor Who or something.
Well, I think here it's a rank, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah.
I think. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, so if the bill was still going, or much ballyhooed the bill, the police drama series that we mentioned all the time in the first season of Batman, because every other actor was from the bill. Yeah, you probably would be hearing Constable quite a bit, like, but yeah, and the other one was Kung Fu Zombie, which just I had to take a screenshot of the plot description because it's good. It says, a criminal comes to town in order to kill Billy Chong over a past dispute. But instead of getting his own hands dirty, he hires a Taoist wizard to animate some zombies to do the job for him. The plan goes horribly awry, and the bad guy ends up getting killed in his own trap. This pisses off the villain's spirit, and he forces the priest to reincarnate him, only they can't find a suitable body. Meanwhile, an undead fiend of sorts comes to town to kill Billy's father over some other past dispute. This is where all of Billy's kung fu training comes in handy, and he manages to kill the attacker. With this, the other bad guy finally has a body to use, but the reincarnation goes wrong, and the corpse is reborn as a vampire.
What?
So at the end, it's like not only a zombie, a vampire.
In conjunction with the...
Oh yeah, the Rand Corporation.
The Rand Corporation, I can remember.
Under the supervision of reverse vampires. Are forcing our parents to go to bed early in a fiendish plot to eliminate the meal of dinner. Right through the looking glass here, people.
We've uncovered everything on this show.
Oh. One thing I did uncover, though, and obviously, again, Kung Fu Zombie Minute coming very soon.
Very soon. I mean, why wouldn't it?
Although I feel like that description like gave away the whole movie, really. But the big thing I discovered about him, young, well, I was going to call him, like, you know, like I was going to say, like, oh, yeah, like young Joe Diamond over here posting. I forgot his name is actually Young Moon Kwon. He's a black belt 9th Dan in Taekwondo, and he was the Taekwondo instructor to Muhammad Ali.
Whoa.
And Sylvester Stallone.
Holy shit.
That's pretty impressive. But one Muhammad Ali's like, I get he would be like, yeah, because you know, when you're a boxer, you would probably want to know how to do other things too, so you can limber up your body, and you'll work out a number of new maneuvers that you can bring into your boxing regime.
That's what she said.
But Sly, I was trying to think, like, Sly was a boxing movie. I get that. And he's a tough guy and things, but like Sly's never been a martial artist and anything that I can recall.
You know what it's almost definitely is that he, as he became a bigger action movie star, he probably thought, well, I need to round my skills out a little bit. You know, because there's only so much a bit of boxing training can do. It's not going to give you a lot of dynamic street fight kind of moves, is it? Whereas Taekwondo, that's quite a multi-purpose martial art as far as I'm aware. It was huge when we were kids. Everyone at my fucking school would do Taekwondo if they were a nerd. Except for me. I was too nerdy.
Well, you're doing Taibo, so you're halfway there.
Taibo. That was a bit later. But yeah, so I think he probably thought, well, I'll learn a few things from different disciplines, you know, just so I can do some fighting for the movie. He probably did Wing Chun because that's quite good for film.
Yeah. I think it could also be the thing he just showed up for one lesson, took a photo, and then like let the press go like, yeah, he's learning swag. He's a real tough guy because it's not just the muscles. Because Sly's whole thing is like it was either boxing in Rocky, which depending on who you go to for is either like, oh, the boxing moves in that are terrible, or they're amazing. But I think there'd be like boxing aficionados or like the boxing in Rocky is appalling or whatever.
Well,
but
the problem with the boxing, I think the boxing looks fantastic, but if you actually break it down, nobody ever defends. Nobody blocks. And it's like, that's the number one thing you need to do in boxing is block a blow, unless you're Homer Simpson.
That was my disappointment when because I grew up as a kid watching Rocky movies. And then, as teenagers saw things like Raging Bull and stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, I get boxing. I know what it looks like. And then when I got into like, because I never watched boxing on TV as a kid, so it doesn't interest me really.
See, I did. I don't know why I liked it. I'd always watch Mike Tyson. Who was the English one? Tony
Prince Nazim was.
I watched Prince Nazim as well. Yeah. I remember me and my dad stayed up really late to watch Prince Nazim Hamed. We paid the money for the pay-per-view. He won in about 15 seconds.
I think I remember telling you the story before of similar thing happened to my friend's actually very recently deceased father. Just died there the other week. But he had a whole thing, brought all the people around to watch the fight, and then it's like the fight's starting, nipped off to the toilet, came back. Fight was over, and Prince Nazim had won. He wasted like 40 quid or something on that pay-per-view. Didn't even get seeing it.
Oh yeah, I think that kind of helped kill in England at least the pay-per-view market was people being too good because you didn't get it wasn't worth your money. It's like, oh, Prince Nazim won in 5 seconds this time. Great.
Yeah, but gets into that thing then when you get like freaking Formula One racing, where it's just like, remember back in the day, it was just like, who won this week? It's always Michael Schumacher, and he's
Michael
always
Schumacher, yeah,
and it's always just him about a million miles ahead of everybody else. It's just like after a while, like, why is anyone watching this anymore? You're just you're focusing on who's gonna get like second and third, basically, because it's the only like interesting game in town.
Yeah, I've never. At least though, with that sport, that's one of the rare ones where I think watching it on TV is better. Actually being there, I reckon, would be shit.
Oh, I have been to many motorbike races because my dad's a massive motorbike fan, and he gets a kick out of it because he just likes the. But it is like you're standing around, and usually because this is in Ireland, this is the road racing, so they just close off like small villages, and there's like record numbers of deaths every year.
Oh my
god!
God.
This year is like the Isle of Man TT, 5 people died. Like stop the racing. Stop having it as a sport. But the racers are pathological. Like their families are all getting killed, and they're like, "Oh, that's it's what we love. This is what the Dunlops do." And you're like,
it's the way it goes. Damn it!
Yes, but you're throwing your lives away, you idiots! Come on. But yeah, and it is. I always remember as a kid just been like, okay, you stand here and then just
thrilling.
Yeah, it's like then you hear from someone else like, oh yeah, someone crashed down the road. It's like. Oh, but
martial arts.
Yes, yeah. So, so Taekwondo, the guy who choreographed this, Young Moon Kwan, the martial arts instructor to Muhammad Ali and Sylvester Stallone, which is pretty good. Cause again, Stallone is just like boxing and then massive machine guns, and it kind of makes me think that because we covered so much of the Stallone-Arnie rivalry over on Batman and Robin when we were talking about, Mr. Freeze and stuff and Arnie in general. If Sly went and learned Taekwondo, did Arnie ever learn the martial arts? Or
I guarantee he did some training. Absolutely. Any actor who's going to be fighting a lot in their films, you need to know some basic hand-to-hand stuff and throws and things like that. I mean, judo would be useful.
But I mean, the typical thing with Arnie and Sylvester Stallone always was like Stallone would be putting in the effort, and then Arnie would just sit back smoking a cigar, laughing, and then somehow be the winner. Like that was always his thing. He's like the most infuriating guy to go up against.
I agree, but also remember that is the man who spent hours and hours practicing how to reload all of the guns in Terminator because he decided, well, a machine wouldn't need to look at the gun.
Yeah,
So he practiced taking the guns apart, reloading them, everything, without looking at them.
I think I've quickly, as we've been talking here, I've just Googled simply, does Arnold Schwarzenegger know martial arts?
I bet he's been trained basic stuff, yeah?
And apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger knows karate.
There you go.
He knows Taekwondo,
There you go.
And he knows how to use martial arts weapons. So, yeah.
Makes sense. I by that, though, I don't think he really he knows. I mean, I'm sure he'd kick my ass. But, I don't think he's not YK Kim.
Oh,
He'll have basic, here's what you need to do, here's how to hold yourself kind of situation.
Well, here's what they've got here is because of his association with the martial arts world and his good relationship with combat sports. Back in 2001 at the Arnold Fitness Expo, in Columbus, Ohio, Arnie was awarded an honorary Taekwondo black belt by Grandmaster
You can't have an honorary
Choi.
black belt.
Yeah, that's your own friggin' event, man. Come on, you can't do that. That's. But yeah, but again, though, it's. I'll be on your side, John. I'm thinking does he really know it though, or is it just he wants to be associated with it, so he's
it'll be like a beginner's class he's passed, which is fine. That's great.
The thing of Arnie was that good at that kind of thing. Arnie and Stallone, it would have been in the movies.
Yeah.
They would have been we can't let this Jean-Claude Van Damme guy who clearly knows what he's doing be the martial arts guy. We've got to get in there too, but yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat him. He's been doing it all his damn life. What a master.
That's just what I was seeing there, though. It's the phrase, this guy taught Arnie how to, he taught him karate. I just keep thinking of Father Ted. And Mr. Doyle was just talking about the sexy milkman guy, Pat Mustard. And just always, he's a black belt, and he taught Elvis Presley how to play karate. So I just always love that terminology of he taught him how to play karate.
Play. I forgot about that.
So yeah, young Moon Kwon taught Sylvester Stallone how to play Taekwondo.
So we should probably get back to the credits.
Oh yeah, we are 2 seconds into the minute.
Yes, hey, who cares? This has all been gold. So it says songs by Lloyd C. Sharp. Could you find anything on Lloyd C. Sharp? I couldn't.
No, and I was frankly stunned.
Yeah.
If this is the guy who's writing for Dragon Sound, I understand this movie fell into a sinkhole and then they didn't discover it again until 2012. But after 2012, this guy should have been getting hit up for everything. This should have been, it really should have been if you need any retro 80s thing, and let's face it, the internet, YouTube, is rife with people needing theme tunes that are an 8-bit 80s throwback synth pop kind of thing.
This show.
Yeah, well, exactly. They should be all going go get Lloyd C. He's the guy who wrote the songs for Dragon Sound. Come on, you have to go get this guy. But
well, that's why. Do you think it means he did the incidental kind of music? I know that songs implies the Dragon Sound stuff, but do you think they just screwed up the credits?
Well, I wasn't too sure because I know they have an interview with a guy and that the Vice thing as a guy does the songs. But so that is Lloyd C. Sharp, or they've messed up somehow. But because then to have that and then incidental music composed and performed by John McCallum, that would indicate that's the somber synths in the background.
Well, the guy in Dragon Sound makes the songs. He's the guy who comes up with the tunes.
Yeah,
that I'm aware of.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was oh yeah, it's that guy from the band. So I don't know, unless this guy is also he was co-writing it or something.
I don't know. It's very odd. But then we did mention John McCallum, composing a lot of music for the film. And when I looked into him, he also worked on Surf Nazis Must Die.
Beautiful.
Yes. A lot of people like that movie. I actually haven't seen it, but I know a lot of fans.
It is I think it's mostly because of the cover.
The cover is fucking gold.
It's a hook-handed Nazi on a surfboard coming towards a lady in a bikini who's going, ah!
How can you fail with a premise like that? He also worked on Phantasm 2, but that was as a set dresser.
Yeah, Phantasm 2 is also just a great movie. Really,
I know you're a fan. Yeah.
Really, really great movie. It's one of those ones. It gets bemoaned as a lesser sequel, and the Phantasm movie does. The franchise falls off a cliff very soon after that second one. But Phantasm 2 is that should be every Halloween. I know the first one's a bit too artsy fartsy for people. It's a bit it's very low budget, cerebral, surreal kind of thing. But Phantasm 2 is full on 80s gloopy, crazy horror crap. Like it's kind of like it's a real schlock fest. And it's great fun. So yeah, if you don't even need to have seen the first one. You just need to just sort of. It kind of explains what happens in the first one anyway. So it's just like, go for it. Just hop on in.
Don't tempt me to just watch the second one.
It's worth it. Like, it's the only one that's really like 100%. That one is definitely. Well, the first one's also worth your time, but the second one is more like fun. The first one's like, yeah, but you need to be like in the headspace for it, you know.
Okay. Well, I've not seen either. And again, believe it or not, but listeners, if you don't know me too well, if you've come from Batminute, you do, but otherwise, or from Hedvig. I'm not huge on a lot of horror, so my knowledge is limited.
Well, they know you're not a big gore person, and
that's
Phantasm
the problem.
does.
I like horror, I like being scared.
But Phantasm does revolve around, flying balls that burrow into people's heads, and then. Like,
but that could be done well.
Oh, it's
but
done
I'm
incredibly
worried
well.
that it would just devolve into like it spends a lot of time on it burrowing into their head.
Well, you got a couple of glory shots, but then it's just like it's the rest of it's all sort of creepy horror.
See,
like,
that I like. Okay, maybe I will enjoy.
But then the second one is much more like, it's got a friggin' guy welds 2 shotguns together and stuff, so he has like a 4 shotgun kind of thing. And
that sounds like a cool weapon in Doom.
And you get people, big gloopy monsters coming out of people's backs and stuff like that. Like, it's, it gets into Freddy Krueger kind of stuff, at times. But that was the 80s, late 80s. It's like, this is how you make your impact. You friggin' try to rival Freddy Krueger in some way.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's some lyrics now that I fucking adore as well. One of the lines you have mentioned, but not the rest, where it goes, striking the victim, escaping by bike, leaving no trails, deep into the night. Look in your shadow, meet life's last breath. Violence the motto, no fear of death.
That's a bit like, what's your motto? Violence. That's it. One word motto, just violence.
Violence. That's all you need to know.
Have you ever seen something like Ross Kemp on Gangs? Which is, if people don't know, it's a hard nut English actor Ross Kemp, who's like a skinhead, infamously played a tough guy on EastEnders. Basically going around, and the thing is that, he has this reputation of being a bit of a thug. He's actually a very intelligent, well-spoken man. And going around, but he looked into like gang warfare around the UK, and so he'd go and like interview gang members. He came to Liverpool at one point and talked about like the Liverpool's version of the mafia. And stuff.
Amazing!
And the Crocky crew from Croxteth, they let the side down. They were just a bunch of little shithead kids. They were just this kind of, and they looked terrible too. They were just sort of like wrapping scarves around their heads. Like, go home and get a proper hoodie at least and cover yourself.
Yeah, what the hell?
But they kept it because they were trying to be interviewed, and then the scarves kept falling down. They'd have to like hold it up with their hands, like, you guys look like friggin' idiots. But although now the Crocky crew might come cracking at my door. But I remember Ross watching an episode of it and seeing like a guy interviewing a guy in prison, and he's just like, what are you in for? Just violence. It's like, doesn't specify. It's like, just violence, just general violence, and that was the charge, was just violence.
I love that violence.
Yeah, that's my motto. Violence the motto.
I might get a tattoo now, just down my arm, just saying violence. That's what I'm about, baby.
Well, things do. We should also mention the fact that they always say about like strike with no mercy elsewhere in the song. And it's like, that's a Cobra Kai thing as well. Like, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. So.
Oh yeah, hang on. Which one came first? I'm racking my brain. When did Karate Kid come out?
Oh, because that was 84. So that's a couple of years ahead of this. But that could be just a general thing that's in like the Taekwondo martial arts world.
Yeah.
The concept of striking with no mercy and stuff. So.
Even though I'm pretty sure this movie tries to tell us that Taekwondo is about like love and etc.
Well, yeah, that's always the way. It's like, what's the whole Mr. Miyagi thing, isn't it? It's like, oh, you learn karate so you never have to use it. And it's like, that's not what people are using it for, Mr. Miyagi. God damn it!
No, Miyagi's right. You've turned Cobra Kai now.
But I imagine like somewhere out there in the shared Miami connection, Karate Kid universe, John Kreese is hearing this song. He's in a nightclub and he hears this song. And he's like, what the hell? You can't put no mercy in a song. That's my thing.
Or he's like, this motherfucker's spitting.
Yeah. He goes up on stage and does that weird hand in the collar thing he always does. And then he's just like, you think he's going to square up to them, and then he just like extends the hand and shakes it.
Whenever the season's on of Cobra Kai, I find myself standing like that.
Oh, it's addictive. Yeah, yeah. I love what he did it, and then when Terry Silver showed up, he had his own stance. Like he was trying to, he's like, oh, I'll do it like a kind of gunslingers, like slunk to the side with on my belt kind of thing. It's like
genius. What a good show. We're going to have to do a spin-off episode about it or something.
You know, the next season's imminent. This was like out in September.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be out by the time this episode is airing. Season 5 of Cobra Kai will have been and gone.
It'll have been and gone. People have forgotten about it. They'll be prepping for season 6.
Yeah, yeah. At this point, I would have thought like this. It's the shine will have tarnished in some way. No. And the season 4, I was more like, I have loved it. I cannot wait for more of this.
It's absolute perfection. In fact, speaking of perfection, we see our Lord of Ninjas doing a show for his guys. He breaks loads of what I'm assuming is like board, but they're on fire. By God!
Well, the thing is, though, when I was making my notes for the minute, I forgot this was coming, and so when this popped up, it was just like my heart burst with joy because not only is it just an unnecessary thing to show,
there's no need.
You know, this guy breaking a load of like I thought it was like concrete slabs.
I'm trying to tell. Is it wood? Is it concrete? Is it like slate, like you put on a roof?
I got the vibe that it was supposed to be. I was gonna almost say, would that be easier to break than wood? Because you drop a piece of slate, there's a little smash.
Maybe, but then would that set on fire easily?
And how many has he got here? I'll just count this quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of these things. So even if it was for slate, the way he mows through it, insanely impressive. But
it's impressive, but it's not the cleanest break. I'll be honest, but fair play.
Oh, you're gonna get Yashito coming to your door. But the things that gave me real joy, because the way they edit it, he does a little hand maneuver in close up. And then it seems as if the flames explode out of his hands.
yeah, like he's done it.
It's like he's done a Hadouken or something.
He's a wizard.
Hadouken! And did that inspire Street Fighter? They're like watching Miami Connection. Like, what the hell?
Actually, I've just realized I said he's a wizard. At the moment, as of recording, in All Elite Wrestling, Chris Jericho has a thing where he calls himself a wizard because he explodes fireballs out of his hands in people's faces.
Yeah, he's been,
like, I'm a wizard!
Could have been watching Miami Connection.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? You guys just burst fire out of his hands.
It's great.
The thing is, it does give that weird element of like, because I think people watching it might genuinely think, did the fire come out of it? Are they saying this guy's like supernatural? Like, and who is Yashito? Are his methods supernatural?
No, he's unknowable.
Well, yeah. We will grow to love him, but we will never know him throughout this film.
We'll love him and hate him with equal measure, but we cannot hope to know.
But even this thing too, like, is he just doing this? It feels like he's just doing this to show off to his men. Like,
oh yeah, it's to assert dominance. It's alpha again. Look.
So I think even if they said like, "Oh, I could do that," like, I imagine they would never say that to his face.
They would think it.
But maybe like actually no, maybe I could imagine a thing of like one of them going like, I think I could do that, and him being like, oh, well, why don't you step up here and let's see you do it, and then
they'd fail and then he'd cut their head off.
Exactly, he'd pick up a flaming shard of slate and slice their head off with it.
Who's next to try? Nobody speaks.
But it's incredible. It's one of the because we're like 8 minutes in and we had plenty of great like little moments of like, dopiness and stuff in the movie. This, I think, for people would be the first big like, whoa, because it's just like, it's so weirdly edited. And the fact too that it has like this big exploding sound effect of flames. And then as the credits move on, the sound effect lingers with it until the next shot. They want to emphasize it, how awesome it is so much.
And it is awesome. I absolutely love it.
100% awesome. No notes, no complaints. Fantastic.
The awesomeness continues as well, doesn't it? Because then we cut back to the gig again, and we see YK Kim do an awesome high kick. Really impressive. They were a little bit odd for a rock gig. Then again, I dance around like a loon, so who am I to judge?
Yeah, I think that they are also putting on a martial arts expo mid-gig. I think that's part of Dragon Sound's like shtick.
Which is fine, but again, it is odd. It's not common.
I guess you gotta show off what you got, you know? It's gotta
Show us the goods, YK.
It's just like, you know, if you're gonna put on a show, it's like get something to get people's attention. It's like, are you gonna do martial arts? And it seems like it always feels a little bit bad because like every one of them can, except the lady singer. They're like, oh no, because she kind of takes a backseat for a lot of the movie.
She's there to look pretty.
I think in the reboot of Miami Connection, she would have a much bigger role and would be one of the ones doing martial arts on stage as well and stuff. So, which I'm sure the reboot of Miami Connection is imminent. Any day now, I can imagine Disney Plus is announcing the series.
I mean, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, and we can consult.
Yeah, but they did it with Mighty Ducks. Didn't watch it, but I know they did it.
Has that been on?
yeah. Then it came and went. Because I remember distinctly the fact that in the trailer, Lauren Graham was like, starring Lauren Graham. And you're like, oh, I like her, you know, Gilmore Girls and stuff. And then there's like, and featuring Emilio Estevez.
So he's in like one or two episodes, yeah.
Well, the thing, I got the vibe he might be in it quite a bit. It's just like Emilio Estevez, he ain't as famous as Lauren Graham nowadays because like she's like, oh, he did Gilmore Girls, friggin' Bad Santa. Well, maybe not that, but like that one, the Parent thing, Parenthood, what's it just called?
Yeah, I think so.
So she's been around. Like people, you know, like middle-aged people all know Lauren Graham, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Emilio Estevez was around many years ago." Like he was Gordy way back when, and then he's just like, "Oh yeah, I kind of need this guy," so came slinking back in. But,
I love it.
Yeah, but I mean, if they can do it, with Mighty Ducks, they can do it with Miami Connection. So,
and I support this wholeheartedly. I will help kickstart it.
But I just love it too. Like we do get a couple of fist pumps in here, mixed in here as well.
Oh yeah, get your drinks ready for that.
And it's just like get the Dragon Sound shirts have been debuted now. I get the bright orange Dragon Sound shirts. The iconography is all beginning to stitch together within this minute. I was so excited to talk about it because like this is it. This is like the proper beginning of Miami Connection.
It's one of the best minutes of the movie.
And I just love too because it cuts back to like the biker gang at one point. And you can't help but notice that it's just getting darker behind them. It's like, how long have they been riding? Like, you can feel like they because I think that's a lot what biker gangs do is that they just genuinely ride around.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
So it was like nighttime when they did the drug deal, when they stole all the cocaine along with those guys' lives. And then, was it the next morning? Or maybe it was just like, yeah, so they were sitting there when they got back in and Yashito did his whole like, okay, I brought the money, don't fail me again. They were sitting out to like breakfast. And then it's just like, okay, now it's 6 a.m. The sun's up. Let's get cracking. And they just literally have spent the day just driving around. Presumably from Miami, you know, to back home. But also potentially just driving around the streets because that's what biker gangs do.
Yeah, I suppose we do that. We cut later on in this minute to Orlando. No more Miami. We've had enough of that place.
No more Miami. Tis a silly place.
It is a silly place. It's full of drug gangs, ninja drug gangs on bikes.
Yep.
So, you know, are we to believe that they are based in Orlando and they went to Miami to do the job and now they're coming back?
I think that seems to be the implication. They've been riding all day to get back. And that's the confusing thing. It keeps cutting back to this Dragon Sound gig. But they change outfits so many times, it feels like that's like footage from 5 different gigs.
Hey, it's a good show, you know. They're improvising, that they're adding things. It's a bit like the band I'm in, you know. I change outfit for each song half the time.
That could be. I imagine like, you know, big pop acts used to do that. You know, you want to see friggin' Little Mix or Girls Aloud or Lady Gaga. I imagine she probably changing outfit literally every song.
Oh, she changes all the time. And although he's cancelled, I went to see Marilyn Manson, but prior to cancellation, and he would change. On this particular tour, he changed every track to be an outfit that would like match the era, because it was like a greatest hits kind of show, you know.
Oh, okay.
But he would do it in 2 seconds. It was like, you know, people would rush on and help him. Bah, 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 and it'd be done. It'd be like, whoa, holy shit. And it was impressive. Turns out he's actually a fucking dick, but never mind.
But, you know, still knows how to change costumes, I guess. Although it probably wasn't even him who put that together. That was probably like...
Yeah.
He probably had someone else planning that tour with them. And then the costume department would be like, well, we can do this for you. But
so what I'm saying is Dragon Sound are the new Marilyn Manson.
Well, let's hope not. Because that'd be really heartbreaking if they were.
Oh, no, please don't let anything come out about Waikiki.
Oh, my God. I mean, on the eve of our premiere, like, no, we can't. We will be like, people forget all about the Batgirl movie been scrapped. And it's like, these guys had 90 minutes of a podcast. They had to just throw away.
Oh, imagine that. Knowing our luck, that's what's going to happen.
That would be, I actually could almost kind of, like, that would be great then. Like, we had such a great show. We recorded literally 102 minutes of it. And then, or 102 episodes. And you're never going to get hearing it. It's just gone. We can't even listen to those episodes anymore.
They're gone.
You'll see them in hell.
Then we get the credit then, written and directed by Richard Park. As we've discussed multiple times, he is one of the two writers and directors, really. Because YK Kim ended up doing a lot of stuff too. But Richard Park is the other name for Woo-sang Park, who we talked about in episode 0. Goes by both names. And he also directed American Chinatown, which has Robert Zadar, who you know well now.
Oh, of course, yeah. Beloved, the most famous chin in the universe, Robert Zadar, yeah. From Samurai Cop.
Yeah. I love the way, to me, Robert Zadar is from Samurai Cop. But to a lot of people, they'll be like, no. They'd list like 10 other movies.
Well, he was a guy like Maniac Cop. He was in that too. He's an iconic guy because once you see the face, like it was like, oh, you'll never. That guy gave Bruce Campbell a run for his money. Like, yeah,
like listeners, if you can't think who he is, he's that actor who's quite big in like the 80s and things, and he had a condition where his face looked a little different. I'm trying to find what the condition's called.
It kind of looked like he had been stung by bees.
Yeah, is it like cherubism or something like that? Yeah, cherubism. Here we go, cherubism. So he had an enlarged jaw, and it says here, a unique and easily recognizable look with a slightly sinister appearance.
Yeah.
He was in 121 films over 39 years.
Oh, he died there a couple of years ago, too. I remember being like, what? That's an R, come on. But yeah,
sadly. Oh, he was in Return to Frogtown. I've never seen that one because the first one, when we watched it drunk that time, I thought, oh, that was great. And then I rewatched it a couple of years ago. I was like, this is fucking awful. It's like porn, and not good porn.
To quote one of the most famous movies, one of the most famous moments of that movie, John, shut your hole.
That is a good line. That is a good one.
Oh, no, but yeah, the Fellow Comes to Frogtown is full-on sleaze. Like, it just happens to have a smidgen more of a production value and, you know, Rowdy Roddy Piper in it to kind of, to weirdly give it legitimacy.
If Piper's in anything, I'm watching it, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I grew up loving Piper, so.
I was wondering because, you know, They Live is, you know, very well regarded for what it is. I was wondering if Roddy Piper being in it kind of makes people think it's going to be like less of a movie than it is. It's like he's actually really good in it as well, but I don't know if people see the name and they're like, oh god, here we go.
I 100% think that happened, and I think that's part of the reason that the movie kind of flew under the radar until it became kind of like one of those, oh, look at this fight scene, let's laugh at it.
Yeah, and then it became more people like, oh, the actual like the sci-fi allegory to this is really good, and all the makeup of the aliens is really good, and like this the visual, you know, representation of what happens when you've been on the specs and all this kind of stuff. It's it's crazy. Like I have a lot of problems with They Live in that, like I think it's a very brisk movie. Well, it's a very short movie it feels incredibly long.
Well, that's what I like about it. I agree. Like, some of the shots are just like Piper walking for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing happening but music.
It feels like it's very much, it is a Twilight Zone episode padded out to 90 minutes. I don't even think it is 90. I think it's like 80 minutes. And again, that's why you have a massively extended fight scene, which is the best scene in it, to be fair.
It's incredible. It really is. A fight scene over putting some sunglasses on.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'd rather fight you for 20 minutes than wear these sunglasses.
Now listen, you crazy mother. But you put on those glasses or you're going to eat that trash can. Oh, man. It's great. But then the rest of the movie, it very much feels like this was like John Carpenter came up with the Twilight Zone episode idea. And he's like, the Twilight Zone doesn't exist anymore. So I guess I got to make a movie out of it.
Could have always gone to the outer limits.
Was that a limit? I imagine there probably was some. There was some, like, not Tales from the Crypt, But then, wouldn't be. You could have possibly made it as the Tales from the Crypt episode with Roddy Piper and Keith David, but would it be remembered? Not. It eventually found its audience, and then it's like now it's a classic and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
that's the main thing. And one last thing about Robert Zadar that I found out was that he inspired Sean Pertwee's character in Dog Soldiers.
I thought you were going to say in Gotham.
In Gotham? No.
Sean Pertwee based his version of Alfred Pennyworth on Robert Zadar.
No, sadly not. But no, he was really enamored with Robert Zadar. So he was quoted as being inspired because he said, like me, he has unusual features that are almost designed to portray grimacing death with profound accuracy and very little effort.
People must feel bad for Sean Pertwee's dad, John Pertwee, because they look exactly alike. He's like, what did you say about my face?
Leave my face out of this.
It's a grim menace. It's like, I played Doctor Who, man. Like, that was like the hero of the 70s. So a bunch of random British kids.
As much as I love that quote, I mean, Sean Pertwee, I don't think he looks like he's got a grim menace.
No, he just like he's got a very distinct face, but he's not like the fact that he can play Alfred. I'm like, yeah, totally. Like the bits I've seen of Gotham, I was like, oh yeah, he's perfectly cast in that role. So,
It is
that's the thing is, this is going into our other show territory, so we probably should cut this. But like, I don't think there's been a bad live action Alfred. Like, I think Sean Pertwee's great from what I've seen. Yeah. Andy Serkis was great. Didn't have as much to do, but I think he was fantastic in that movie. Jeremy Irons, the friggin' star of Dawn of Justice.
Best thing in that.
And now, Michael Caine. Yeah, Michael Caine, of course, Michael Goff. Legendary. Alan Napier. There is, like, Alfred seems to be, like, a role that everything's like, yeah, you get the guys in, they usually know what they're doing. I guess maybe because they're always casting older British actors. So they will know what they're doing, is the thing.
Well, you'd hope so.
Because they're all going to be classically trained, Shakespearean dudes.
Everyone in this country is.
Tread the board. Well, you of course you pass your your GCSEs, and then of course you have to go on into the Royal Shakespeare Society for at least 5 years.
It's like, yeah, that's what you do. You get called up. It's a bit like national service,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do. So at least 5 years, and then if you want to move on to RADA or anywhere, like you can do so. But most people just prefer to go back to being civilians again.
Yeah. It's a tough life. It's not easy. Well, speaking of a tough life, actually, we see some thugs hanging out, which is pretty tough, waiting for crime. The one on the right
is hanging around just waiting for crime.
Yeah, the one on the right's like spinning some handcuffs for some reason. Is this the only prop they could find for him to do something with?
The thing is, though, because one of them's wearing like a leather cap. It's very fetishy. It's what it's, so it could be like, you got a costume, right? I go, sure. And he just went into like the thing he wore out to the club every night. And he's like, I got my handcuffs too, man. You want me to do this? He's like, no. Let's pair that with a raggedy looking checkered shirt.
Hey, we're getting a glimpse into his fat life profile.
Yeah. He also looks a bit like Kid Rock too. So in many ways, I'd like to think that it is Kid Rock.
It's the kind of thing Kid Rock would, join in with.
Yeah. That would be the thing. So whatever happened to Kid Rock? Like, he joined like he got involved in a war with like these biker ninjas. He didn't make it.
Oh, I mean, would the world be any worse off if he hadn't made it? Oh,
is he still? He's still around somewhere, right?
Yeah, he was good mates with Donald Trump.
Oh,
he was hanging out with him at the White House and stuff.
They was hanging outside the White House waiting for crime.
Well, I saw a good.
Didn't have to wait long. Let me tell you.
As of recording, I saw a good tweet yesterday where it was just saying, "I can't stop thinking about the fact that there's a very good chance that Kid Rock saw the nuclear codes."
Very true.
Because you know, Donald Trump would have gone, "Hey, get a look at these."
I think, you know, no way condoning Trump in a way, but like I think a lot of people, if they're president, they'd be like, "All right, I shouldn't do this," but like, do you want to see them? Like, you want to see what I have access to?
But to Kid Rock.
Well, not the kid. Who else? Freaking Kanye West. Like, there's tons of nut jobs in the celebrity industry.
A1 Nut Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of an A1 nut boy, we'll be getting into talking about him a lot more as the film goes on, but would be remiss if we did not mention we do get our first glimpse at one of the major villains. It's probably the second biggest villain after Yashito of the movie. Jeff there.
With his amazing beard.
Oh, I cannot wait to talk about G.I. Jeff. Oh. Like, it's just, everything about this guy is phenomenal.
I imagine to some people, not my jam, but I imagine to some people he's quite sexy.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. He's got a George Hendricks-esque quality to him.
Yes. Listeners, if you don't know George Hendricks, great podcaster. Go and listen to his shows.
If you don't know George Hendricks, he's a dreamboat.
Check out his OnlyFans.
Yep. Well, if he doesn't have one, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Come on, it's just beard shots. That's all you need.
But the thing is, though, other than like we asked for George Hendricks for pictures for his Batman appearance, and he sent us some shirtless ones, as I recall.
Yeah, but they were all like old ones where he was a lot heavier, and he was having fun with that though. He's like, because none of these look like me.
Yeah, but no, I think he was painting the house was the reason he had he was like out painting his porch or something. So it's yeah, but they had, even back then though, there's a bit of a paunch. Doesn't matter. People are into it.
Dad bod.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I will say though, in terms of economic storytelling, is that because not only is this movie presenting, it's summarizing the plot within the opening song here. This is one of those things you go into screenwriting classes, they always tell you the first line of your movie should basically be kind of summing up what the movie is. Even if it's a line of casual sounding dialogue, thematically should tie in and stuff like that. That's one of the things I don't know if every movie does do that, but they always say in your first scene, really, if you're being economic and don't waste time. I'm doing that by prattling on about it way too much. You should establish things very, very quickly. And to be fair, the first shot of Jeff, this guy's deal. He's sitting there with a weird feather earring thing, foot up in somebody's snazzy, shiny car, as if he just doesn't give a crap that he's got his feet. This is a proper, don't do that in someone's car door, man.
Hey, you know what?
And he just looks like an asshole.
I get the vibe they've stolen the car because of the way he's treating it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I can imagine it's probably either if it's not his car, it's one of his buddy's car. Or if it's not stolen. But it does, to be fair, it's with that one little split second, it's I get this guy. So that is at least genuinely good economic storytelling, where it's just they knew to frame him in a way to be you get it from the word go. So
true. Yeah. And this person on the left, I couldn't stop thinking she's the love child of Barb from Stranger Things and Paul Dano.
Weirdly, I was getting a lot of young Ricky Lake vibes from her.
I can see that as well. Okay, let's have a thruple.
Yeah. Ricky Lake, Barb, and Paul Dano all got together. They don't know, who actually, because they don't know who the father is. Paul Dano's just hey.
It could be
that's
anybody.
That's the real riddle these days, I guess.
That's the riddle. There you go. Who's the father? Who's the mother? It doesn't matter.
Oh, I get to come to him then. It's yeah, Paul, one of us is pregnant. And he just does it. No. This is not how this was supposed to go.
It's the problem with polyamory.
Oh man, I feel one of our big regrets in life now will be that we didn't have the Batman and that meme out when we were doing a season about the Riddler. It's like so many jokes we could have been making about just the no.
By the time we get to it, it'll have come back.
It'll be the hip retro meme from 2022.
Exactly. It'll be back in style. It was the style at the time. It's the style at this time.
That meme you like is going to come back in style.
Hell yeah. Also, speaking of style, is this chap here, how do I describe him, the husky gentleman, is he wearing a noose as a tie?
Well, could be. We had the Riddler, now we got the Scarecrow. With the the Scarecrow always has a noose around his neck as a tie.
It's very like that. Look at it, like, pause it at like...
I get it. It totally does, yeah.
I mean, one of my favourite pieces of clothing, listeners, if you don't know me, I'm into punk and stuff, is Vivienne Westwood's mohair jumpers, or sweaters to Americans. She would have a variant of it, which you can get replicas of, where it's really loose knit. It's like a fishing net, but it wraps around your neck like a noose. I've always wanted one. I can get one made for about £100, but... yeah, so,
it's pretty. It's £100 quid. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fake. You know, the real one cost about £1,000.
Yeah, but you get any jumper woven for like £100 quid. It's like, oh, and you get it from scratch.
Yeah, and you wear it around your neck like it's meant to be a statement. You know. Speaking of the duality of man, no. But maybe he's going for that kind of punky sort of vibe. You know, about like, fuck the world kind of.
Or could be, they saying one guy there's got his leather cap on, leather gloves, kind of fetish gear. Could be that's a leash. He's just got this guy. Then Jeff, they're just like, stay there.
Maybe when he's really into it, he's a pup.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
He looks like the kind of guy who'd wear a pup mask.
Yeah, I can imagine. He's a hairy dude as well. He might just get in the whole. He really gets in the character potentially.
Any time I've been to like queer events, things like that, there'll always be a random guy who's a pup who looks like him. I think it's him. He's a pup. He's just got the mask off for a breather.
It could be that even the leash has been held by Ricky Lake there, and Jeff and the other guy are together. So it's like this is a double date. They're not a double date of waiting for crime.
Oh, and they are literally just waiting for crime. Actually, here's a problem I have with this. Right, I forgot to bring this up because it was a couple of seconds ago. When it cuts here to Orlando, it's clearly not Orlando. It's Coral Gables, which I googled. It's a different place. You can see the fucking building says Coral Gables on it.
That's the thing. Is like we call the movie Miami Connection. Not set in Miami. It's set in Orlando, Florida. We're not going there either.
No.
Okay?
Right, Americans, let me know. Am I being stupid? I had to look this up, obviously. I don't know anything about America. There's New York and there's the South. That's all I fucking know. Maybe California. Yeah. That's got Arnold Schwarzenegger and Humvees in it. But Coral Gables isn't Orlando, right? Let me know.
Unless this is another statement about the duality of man.
Yeah. It's all one.
I mean, I think I'm no doubt for minute 8. I don't know, you got anything else? Or?
The only thing I've got is the drinking game. Prep your drinks, everybody. Shirtless dudes. Check. Have a drink.
Yep.
Right. I guess this also counts as seeing Dragon Sound play, right? Even if it's not their song. Do you count it?
Well, that's the thing, yeah. We are watching them playing. Yeah, so.
Okay, have a drink. Lovely. Fist pump. That's one more. And we're done. 3 drinks.
Oh,
3 drinks.
I was really getting in there. It's like, all right, here we go.
Here we go, baby. Hey, you can keep drinking. I'm not going to stop you. Keep drinking. You know what, listeners? If you want to keep drinking, if you want to knock back your Korean spirits or whatever you've got, it doesn't matter. If you want your cocktails, have them. Go for it. But we will be breaking the connection once more, only to reform it again in a week's time. do come and speak to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. Just look up Miami Minutes. We'll pop up. And why not head over to TeePublic and look up the Sleepy Charlie Media TeePublic page, where you can get, all kinds of merchandise for our different shows, all the different shows on the Sleepy Charlie Media Network. And yes, do join us again in 1 minute's time. Fucking hell, hang on. See, the booze goes to your head when you have 3 in a row. Do join us again in 1 week's time for more Miami Minutes. Hiya!
Listen to me!